Hi guys, this is gsnhome.com and here with the Xiaomi Pocophone F1, or as some people know it in India, the Poco F1. We're dealing here with the inaugural phone for this series and we've already unboxed it as a premiere. Now it's time for the full review. You may have heard of it. It's got a polycarbonate back, it's got a lot of strength, Snapdragon 845 CPU. It also has liquid cooling. It's a bit of a gaming phone. It's got a dual back camera, also a bit of a notch here at the top, and all of that for the mere amount of $480. Not actually bad. So we have the black version of the phone here, but it's more like gray if you ask me. There's supposed to be another color out there, which I have yet to find out. Anyways, this is the gsnhome.com review of the handset, so let's get it on. Now, design wise, I'm getting some OnePlus 6 vibes if I'm looking at the back side. However, this is not metal, this is not ceramic, this is not glass. This is polycarbonate, which feels a bit cheap, but it has a pretty decent level of grip. The phone sits quite well in the hand. It's rather large, I'm talking about thick, and also rather wide, so it will be a bit hard to use it properly with a single hand. I'm doing it right now, so if you have smaller hands, you may have a bit of a problem. Still, comfy buttons on this side here, good grip, and in spite of being made of polycarbonate at the back side, it's pretty solid in build. It's got a metal frame, it's got a glass panel at the front with not the narrowest bezels in the world, let's be frank. It doesn't have a premium feel, it's just utilitary and that's it. And the notch feels a bit forced here, that's my impression. Also quite a wide notch. 9mm in thickness and also 186.5 grams, that's the weight of the device. It's actually heavier than the Huawei P20 Pro and also heavier than the Xiaomi Mi 8. So overall it's a rather typical design, nothing fancy, not even out of the ordinary, just utilitarian, and that's it. No beauty pageants to be won. On the display front, what we're seeing here is a 5.99-inch IPS LCD panel with a 2246 over 1080 pixel resolution. It's got the famous already 18:9 aspect, it's got a notch, and it's a pretty wide screen if you look at it closely and if you compare it to a narrow phone like, I don't know, LG G7 for example. Now the actual viewing experience felt a bit off, and I'm telling that because it felt like we experienced it on the Asus Zenfone 5, if you remember. So if you don't choose this player but choose another one, the one we installed, which is the MX player, you can actually go all the way full screen. Okay, start over, and here you can see what I'm talking about. So if you go all the way full screen, there is a lack of symmetry, and here we have curved corners and here we have a flat line, so I have a problem with this lack of symmetry. Anyways, overall I would say that the brightness is just decent, the contrast not the best in the world. I put this phone to the test under a strong sun and did not perform. The colors feel a bit on the warm side, but they're okay, and we got a pretty wide view angle. So maybe aside from the lack of symmetry and the contrast, I would say it's an okay experience, but once again doesn't break brightness records. Right now it's at about something like 80%, and I've seen brighter phones for sure. Now let's see how we did with all of our tests and all of our analysis. And these are the pixels of the screen under the microscope. They've got the RGB stripes arrangement. We also did a brightness test, which culminated with a result of 378 lux units, which is just okay. Certainly not a flagship level. I've seen phone with 600, 700 lux, well, rather 600 or 500. It beats the Huawei P20 Lite, the LG G5 and the HTC U12 Plus, so that's a thing. Scores below the HTC U11, the LG G4 and the Motorola Moto Z Play. There's a good thing here, and the good thing is that you can tweak the experience of the screen from here. You got your brightness level, you got your reading mode to get rid of the blue light, you got your contrast and colors, this palette of colors, and 3 contrast options: automatic, increased, or standard. To be honest, not much of a change is felt. Text size, double tap screen to wake, auto rotate screen, and raise to wake are some of the other options. Overall the screen is just okay, and that's it. It doesn't break any records. Now, speaking of things that break records, the Snapdragon 845 CPU. For this price, it's crazy to have it. And we're also getting liquid cooling, the Adreno 630 GPU, 6GB of RAM, and 64GB of storage, and also micro SD card slot. Now let's see what else we got here. A thing that we got for sure is absolutely no lag. No matter what we did with this phone, we didn't experience any lag. We could install stuff, we could play stuff, we could update stuff. No trace of stutter, problems with the fluidity and things like that. We play Asphalt 9, we played PUBG Mobile, we play Altos Odyssey, and once again no lag. So it does indeed feel like a gaming phone. And also good news, there's no overheating. As usual, we'll present the game Riptide. You know, Riptide GP Renegade is our typical benchmark game, but you can easily run, as I said before, Asphalt 9, Asphalt 8, PUBG Mobile, and whatever shooter you fancy. With a bit of luck, maybe Fortnite will get supported sooner rather than later. Okay, now this is the experience in Riptide. You can take the details all the way to the max, and there will be absolutely no problem. Okay, pretty nice frame rate, solid textures, animations, and lighting. And now let's talk about the benchmarks. Okay, so benchmarks, let's see what's happening here. We have a bunch of screenshots and hopefully we'll get them all going. So as usual, we did Antutu, we did a whole bunch of tests. So this is Antutu 7 actually. Pretty impressive score, and in this one we scored third place all time with Beat HTC U12 Plus, Xperia XZ2, scored below the OnePlus 6 and the Asus Zenfone 5Z, but not by a lot. Still a pretty powerful phone. Now let's see what else we have here. We have a bunch of other tests. This is Antutu 6. In Antutu 6 we beat the Asus Zenfone 5Z, Huawei Mate 10 Pro, which was a pretty powerful phone back in the day, scored below the Nokia 8 and the OnePlus 6, so this one is not as flattering as the first one. Now the real surprise came in Geekbench 4. Check out the multi-core score, pretty impressive. Beats Galaxy S9 Plus, OnePlus 6, scores below just the iPhones from last year. Sadly, the phone wouldn't want to run GFX Bench and also 3D Mark and its related benchmarks, so that's sad because we don't have a proper idea of the GPU. I personally am happy with what it delivers gaming wise. Now if you want to talk about temperature, results are good. 38.3 degrees Celsius in benchmarks, no overheating, and also good in gaming. 34.5 degrees Celsius, once again no overheating, so you can forget about overheating here. Zero problems with that, unlike the recently tested by me Huawei Honor 10, but that's another story for another day. Now this handset, just like the Redmi phones from Xiaomi, has an impressive battery, 4000 mAh. You'd feel that with this polycarbonate back you will be tempted to lift it and remove the battery. Well, it's not the case. So 4000 mAh battery with a big screen. Does it deliver? Oh boy, does it. So we did some tests and let's see what came out of that. The first thing I can tell you is that it totally delivers in video playback. It's actually a crazy good time. We have a lot of screenshots to go through, so bear with me as we look for that excellent result. Okay, so we have the system storage, got the PC mark result, okay, which is actually pretty impressive as well. And here we are, finally, screen on time in video playback is 14 hours and 57 minutes. It beats the average span of a Netflix show, which is basically 10, 12, 13 episodes. This is actually closer to 15 hours. It's crazy good. Beats Galaxy Note 8, the Google Pixel 2 XL, Galaxy S9 Plus, scores below the Xperia X82 Ultra and also the Huawei P20 Pro. Now with the other test, you know, PC mark, the continuous usage, it's actually 9 hours 54 minutes. It's quite good, solid, above the Asus Zenfone 5, Galaxy S7 Edge and Galaxy Note 8. Still below the Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus, which is a bit of a champ, the Xiaomi Mi 6 and the Huawei P20 Pro, which is a battery beast. Charging is not bad at 1 hour and 53 minutes. It's superior to the HTC U12 Plus, and after 1 hour of charging you're at 72%, which is actually not that bad. Now we're going into the settings and let's see some stuff here, and by stuff I mean battery. Lots of options here. Battery and performance, battery usage, got your battery saver option, you got your monitoring the background processes, keeping the Wi-Fi and other connectivity off in standby mode. You can see that here. So basic options for power saving. Something I forgot to show you was the full screen display and the fact that you can hide the screen notch, so no problem with that. Okay, excellent battery. We move on to the acoustics. Actually, I have good news. So we got a speaker here. You also have a speaker here, so there's stereo happening, and I feel that the experience is satisfying even at 50%. Let's actually listen to some music. So let's find the music app. Should be hidden here somewhere. Of course, you can go with the Google Play Music. It has a different equalizer, or you can go with the simple one. It's this one, and let's listen to some tunes. Okay, so I would say the experience is pretty powerful. Strong bass and strong volume even at 50%. Nice synthesizers, and the equalizer is only activated with headphones. We also have Mi sound enhanced, and we have two grills at the bottom, but only the right one is the speaker, and this one is much more powerful compared to this one at the top. This one actually feels a bit useless at times. If you cover it, you won't feel it. If you cover the bottom one, well, you'll feel it. And luckily in landscape, you'll cover nothing, because it remains open for you. In Google Play Music, you got the Snapdragon Audio Plus tweaks, genres, bass boost, 5 channels, you know the works. We do not have bundled headphones, but we do have FM radio, and something else we have, tests with a special tool that records the decibels. And I was actually underwhelmed at first. This is a mere result of 71 decibels with the top speaker. I told you it's rather poor, but the bottom one is actually 87.9 decibels, so it's quite solid. This one beats the iPhone 8, the Huawei P20 Pro, scores below the Galaxy S8 though. Now this is music, this is an audio sample. When we turn on a game or a movie, things get a bit higher. 100.4 decibels. It beats HTC U12 Plus, Galaxy Note 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, but scores below the Nokia 8 and the Asus Zenfone 5Z. Actually not bad, and we do have an audio jack, in case you're wondering. It's here, so no problems with the acoustics. And I'm glad it's stereo. Now on the camera front, Xiaomi kept things simple. So this is a combo of a dual camera with a dual LED flash. The camera combo is the following: 12 megapixel plus 5 megapixel. It's got dual pixel technology, it's got autofocus, it's got bokeh, it's got 4K, and apparently optical image stabilization. That's what it says on some sites. I'll believe it when I'll see it. And at the front, something crazy, 20 megapixel selfie camera with pixel binding, which should deliver something like a 5 megapixel shot, but with 4 times the clarity. Now, if you go to the interface, it's very simple. If you've seen a Xiaomi phone before, it's exactly the same. You got your portrait, video, photo, some AI feature here, which is useful at times, and even more options in this side. So basic stuff, no complications, and let's go to the gallery. So it's gallery time. As usual, we took a lot of pics because we like to do that, actually 169 of them, and I was actually impressed. It went above my expectations. So here we go. It was a torrid day, something like 37 degrees Celsius, something crazy like that. At first I was tempted to say that it burns the greens like the Huawei phones, but it's actually got a pretty nice color calibration if you really look at it. The sky could be burnt more seriously, but it's actually not. And here we have the sun in front of us. Many phones would fumble, not this one, it did not. You also have the HDR, which makes things a bit too white. You can ignore the selfies with the glasses. I always like to judge them when you actually can see the eyes of the person. In general, I was happy with the color clarity. I know every once in a while it misses a bit and burns the colors, but not as severely as a Huawei phone does. I love the look of the clouds. I generally love the colors, nice reds, nice blues, nice yellows, and the clarity was always spot on. You can even go up close in a very close manner with the close-ups. Solid greens, and I'm getting some OnePlus 6 vibes. I know it's a very high praise, but those are the vibes. Not very impressed by the zoom, so if you go 2x, I would say it's okay. If you go past 3x, things get hella grainy, so to say, very grainy. And also some vibes from the Asus Zenfone 5 and 5Z are what I'm getting here. We can spot here a problem with the dynamic range in the background. It has to distinguish between the darker area and the brighter area and cannot handle the heat of the background. But still, close-ups, nice colors, pretty good clarity. and the zoom was the only letdown so far. The selfies are okay, I would say. Face texture, the details, the skin texture, the hair texture, but the background is a bit blurred, and it's not even for a special portrait effect. It's just blurred in all the shots, and you can apply a beauty effect, but it exaggerates a bit, makes your face look like a doll. So if there's something behind you, it's very likely it will get blurred, and frankly, it doesn't feel like a 20 megapixel camera, more like a decent 8 megapixel one, but certainly not one you'd find on a Galaxy Note 8 or Note 9. Another few shots. Don't get me wrong, the selfies are okay. I've seen much worse, even on some flagships, but they're not memorable. For example, Sony breaks this pattern of selfies. Okay, so enough about the selfies. In general, I was happy once again with the colors, clarity, and even at the level of detail, minus the zoom part. Now the panorama has a resolution of 13,696 over 3,712 pixels. And overall, this feels like 80% of the experience of an Asus Zenfone 5Z, or maybe the OnePlus 6 with a slight bit of exaggeration. And there are two phones that this device clearly beats. The LG G6 and the Zenfone 4 cannot exactly fight the current flagships. That's very hard. It can maybe do a battle with the Xiaomi Mi 6 because it has better colors and the same level of clarity, and I'm thinking it can also fight something like an iPhone 7 or iPhone 8. We also have some nice close-ups here. We did some bokeh, and bokeh comes out nice, but you have to pull several attempts to get it to function properly, but when it does, it's actually pretty spectacular. This is probably the best Xiaomi phone I've tested camera-wise. I haven't played with the Mi 8 yet, but so far so good, and actually above my expectations. So let's put it on par with the Zenfone 5 and 5Z, and above the 2017 flagships, well, most of them. Now this is daytime. If you go to the nighttime, things are not impressive. So what I did get was a pretty decent zoom, that's for sure, but things were a bit too white at times, which is rather strange. We also have many moved shots, something like 1 out of 5 pictures can be moved. The images will be drowned in white at times, and the flash doesn't flatter them. Clarity is, I would say, decent. Streetlight halos were a bit on the long side, at least in the first shots. So if you see here, we have very elongated streetlight halos, and that's not okay. They're creating artifacts. There are also some areas which feel a bit too yellow for my liking. And once again, 1 out of 4 or 5 shots will be blurred, will be moved. So you're either patient or maybe choose another phone. So that's the vibe I'm getting. They're not exaggeratedly dark, I would say. Again, they're too well lit in some areas. It feels more like a mid-ranger than a Snapdragon 845 effort in the low light camera department. Okay, now this has been the photos. Let's go to the videos. Okay, so we talk about videos, so that's where we're going to access the dedicated folder. Things are very simple here. We're going to start with this one, and the microphone was impressive. You can clearly hear what I'm listening to, exactly the music I'm listening to. And as far as the video goes, not bad. I love this hue of green, much better than the Huawei P20 Pro one. We shot MP4, Full HD, 30 frames per second and 20 mega per second, with a, I would say, decent zoom at first, and not bad colors, also clarity, and a decent stabilization at first glance. Now, of course, here comes the stabilization test. We walked around and filmed. There's a bit of flicker. The image will tremble, as you can see, but I've seen worse, to be honest. Of course, not flagship level. It doesn't beat a Sony Xperia, doesn't beat an HTC, but on a Xiaomi level, it's actually decent. It's also below the OnePlus 6 a bit, and the Zenfone 5. Just a slight little bit. At least the clarity and colors are always spot on, and the microphone actually surprised me with its quality. And here, if I'm not mistaken, this is the 4K video. Not a bad dynamic range in the background, and the exposure is also spot on. It may feel darker, but it's a cloudier and shadier area, and it kept its composure when it comes to the exposure, lighting, and dynamic range, so no problem with that. Excellent clarity, excellent colors, so it kind of delivers during the day, to be honest. Yes, I know the stabilization isn't what we expect, but still okay. And this is made using the front camera, which sadly only does 720p video. I try to make it do Full HD, but nope, just 720p, so if you're a vlogger or aspiring vlogger, you're out of luck. Overall, this all feels like something like Samsung Galaxy A8 2018, maybe a Sony Xperia XA2. This is a slow-mo video that's pretty much on an iPhone level, you know, 240 frames per second at full HD. Actually not bad. And that's about it. Those are the videos we shot. Nice colors, good clarity, okay dynamic range. The only drawback being the stabilization maybe, and also slightly little bit the focus at times, but very rarely. So overall a pretty satisfying experience. Only minor burn in the full sunlight. I would say it beats the Nokia 8, which I actually tested in a similar area of this park. Yes, I've said it, it beats Nokia 8, Xiaomi Mi 6, and even the Huawei P20 Pro if you're filming leafy things that are green or should be green. By Xiaomi standards, this is excellent. The best video shooting on a Xiaomi so far. During the nighttime things get more modest as expected, so we got big halos, we got some flicker, we still have a good microphone, but the lights become elongated, they get those lines, and zoom is, I would say, decent, but there's too much grain, colors are solid, and actually the second video is better because the halos will get more okay. Of course, if you're moving around, stabilization isn't top notch, but the clarity remains quite decent. At least there's no refocus or a strange blue or purple hue like some other phones have had during the years. Okay, so that's it. It's not a flagship in all the chapters, but there are some areas where it shines. Basically the colors, the clarity, and some pleasant surprises in the video department during the day. This has been the camera, which doesn't feel bad. And then we got the browser, which is actually Chrome. Let's access gsm.com. Here we go. And Chrome actually offered us excellent results in benchmarks like SunSpider, Jetstream, and the works. For input, we got this keyboard here, which is stock and has swipe. And for connectivity, we got the USB Type-C at the bottom, we got the audio jack at the top, there's 4G LTE with about 7 bands or maybe more. We got Wi-Fi A, B, G, and AC, dual band, Wi-Fi Direct, Bluetooth 5.0, GPS, there's AGPS, GLONASS, Beidou, dual SIM slots, VoLTE, and there should also be NFC in here if I'm not mistaken, so a lot of stuff to do here. Calls were loud and clear, we got a speed dial feature, we got a call recorder, and we also did a speed test at some points, so let's see how that came out. Here we go, these are the results. A pretty impressive 441 megapsecond download, 25.8 megapecond upload, and on 4G 85 and 65, so actually not bad at all, especially the Wi-Fi is crazy good. Now let's talk software. Since now we're done with the connectivity and the camera, let's talk about the software and let's get a bit of introduction first. So we are running on Android 8.1.0, so Android Oreo with MIUI 9.6 on top. So MIUI means minimalism. You can see the abstract icons. They're basically something like templates or basic skins for the regular icons. You know, some companies like to draw special things that resemble real life. These ones are abstract. The music one is abstract, the Play Store is abstract, the weather is very much something like Art Nouveau, things like that. Okay, so this is the iconography, and the setup of the MIUI system involves this sort of aggregator as the leftmost home screen, which aggregates shortcuts, note-taking, calendar, and you can actually customize the shortcuts from here. Other than that, you can keep pressed on the home screen and also use wallpapers. You got a bunch of widgets here, which haven't changed a lot in the past years for the MIUI scene. We got transition effects, default screen, fill empty cells, and more. You got your Vault, App Vault, icon pack, group icons by color, and that's about it. Now, if you're planning on doing some multitasking, which of course you're going to be doing, you press this button here and you got a sort of card system, and you can close apps by swiping up, and you also have the split screen thingy. So let's say I want to do a split screen between settings on the one hand and the video on the other hand. So you can watch a video and go through the settings at the same time thanks to the split screen option. Okay, there's that. So now we go further, and in the drop down section you swipe down gently from the top side. You got the quick settings, you got notifications, and this is the expanded panel of quick settings. Let's actually go to the settings. We got quite a few features here. The about phone you already saw. There's the security status, Google Play Protect, connectivity, display, wallpaper, themes, lock screen and password, notification and status bar, home screen and recents, which you saw before, scroll bar, empty cells, etc. Full screen display, you can get rid of the buttons, those virtual ones, and use gestures like the iPhone 10 ones, like the Android 9 Pie ones. You can hide the screen notch and choose the apps that will use the full extent of the screen. We also have second space, which basically lets you act like you're having a new phone. If you're handing this to a child, you can activate second space and they're running on a new mint phone. Basically, that's the idea, like having two phones in one. Battery and performance, storage, additional settings. This is where you have the quick ball, which is basically a floating widget with extra options. I've seen it on many other phones. And we also have the gestures, notification light, one-handed mode, simulating a smaller diagonal, me mover, system apps, and dual apps. You can use two instances of the same apps. One example is Facebook, and that's only one of them. Now, when it comes to the security, you know that Xiaomi bragged about having something like an infrared special sensor here for the face unlock. To be honest, I could not find it. I looked all the way through the settings. This may be a demo unit. I could not find the face unlock, and that's a bummer. Okay, so at least you have the fingerprint, so there's that. Have to wait a few seconds for the pin to be set. 1, 2, 3, 4. I recommend you get a more complex one. And this is where we actually record the fingerprint. It's placed here. Apparently you have to confirm the password. Okay. Add a fingerprint. Confirm it again. And here we go. I'm putting my finger here. It takes about a dozen attempts. We are done. And you can also do fingerprint payments with these services. Okay, now let's see how fast it unlocks the device. Just a tap. And you're actually hearing it in real time. It's that fast and that efficient. That's nice, but too bad we don't have face unlock. I'm pretty sure it will come with a future update. Once again, we look here. Fingerprint, screen lock, privacy protection, sleep, wake lock, volume buttons, camera, advanced settings. Nothing. I see no trace of special option that involves the front camera or special sensor, so that's too bad. No love for face unlock just yet. Okay, we're done with the settings, basically the quick ball and all that. Let's talk about the pre-installed apps. I counted them. There's 37 of them. It's rather okay. You got your calendar, you got your calculator, you got your drive, you got your Duo, your Facebook, your file manager, your messaging app, your note-taking app, which is actually not bad. There are times when it felt like the iOS Note app or the Evernote app, so not bad. Play Store, Play Music, photos, and a scanner for QR codes, plus security, which has a bunch of things like memory cleaner, boost speed, security scan, manage apps, app lock, deep clean, game speed booster, so that's not bad. By the way, you can also do screen recording with a special app. Is this one here. If you're a gamer and want to record your sessions, here are all the options. This is the resolution. And here we have the video quality, basically the bitrate, orientation, sound source, so gamers will be happy to put their stuff on YouTube. Okay folks, that's about it. It's time for the pros and cons and the verdict for this handset, the Xiaomi Pocophone F1, or as is known in India, the Xiaomi Poco F1. Now on the pro side, this phone has an excellent price tag, around $480 or $450 on some retailers. It's got an excellent performance. It's very good for gaming. There's no overheating. It has a fantastic battery, believe me. Pretty solid acoustics, and doesn't take bad pictures and videos with this back camera. It has fast Wi-Fi, a fast fingerprint scanner, and a pretty okay display in my book. Now it also can handle some pretty nifty gaming like Asphalt 9. And on the cons side, keep in mind this was the pros list, I'm going to go to the cons now. The design isn't much to look at. It's rather average, and I've seen it before. It's using plastic at the back, polycarbonate, and other than that, I would say that the top speaker is a bit on the poor side compared to the bottom speaker, which is actually pretty solid. Okay, I'm preparing my selection here. And other things in the cons area, aside from the design, poor top speaker, so-so stabilization when taking videos, so-so low light experience. The contrast of the display could be better. There's no face unlock yet, there's no waterproofing, and the selfies should be better for a 20 megapixel camera. So in the end, it's sort of a covert gaming phone. It runs PUBG like a champ, and it can also handle itself in other games. Asphalt is one example, and you can do a lot of other titles. Fortnite, when it's available for this handset, it will certainly run without a problem. The best thing about it, doesn't overheat. Even if you're playing many hours, minutes, or whatever, it will never overheat. And I found the pictures to be surprising at some point, so there's that. Overall, it's a great bang for the buck. It runs games fine. It's a gaming phone. It takes Galaxy A8 2018 level pictures. It's got okay acoustics, fast Wi-Fi, and a pretty fast unlock. For a bit below $500, you are actually not getting a bad deal. Not bad at all. So this has been the review of the Pocophone F1, or as is known in some parts of the world, the Poco F1 here at gsn1.com. Hope you enjoyed as much as you did the unboxing. Bye bye.